with him because he had me sued. He sued me about 8 weeks ago, and that his attorney would have to talk to my attorney. So then he talked to two magistrates, and so he did finally come over to talk to them primarily, but I listened. I didn't say a whole lot, but he said that he had done me a favor by this happening, and I said, you know, my family paid a terrible price. My wife cried yesterday about this because it's all coming up again through this. So it's not pleasant to have to redo this.
He didn't do you a favor, did he?
No, he didn't do me a favor.
And the subpoena you were served with to the grand jury, what do you think that was about?
Well, Marvin Litford is the co-director of an organization called the Harlan County Sheriff's Chaplains Corps, and we've been asking them to move out of a county building so we can bring a company in, and so that's part of why he sued me in the county, and so that battle is going on right now. They are in a county building, and today, this very day, that's where I was. We were helping move them out of there into another location, but we've had terrible battles over that. And he's co-director. He has the Harlan County Sheriff's Chaplains Corps operating out of his office.
Do you feel that subpoena was done to intimidate you?
It has all the appearances of that. It was served by a deputy, and you know, I don't know why it was served on me, but we can go fish and figure out what it might be.
Was it issued by the Commonwealth Attorney's Office?
And he's co-director. He has the Harlan County Sheriff's Chaplains Corps operating out of his office.
Now, in the Potter versus Howard case, the affidavit was filed in that case. Was that an accurate affidavit?
It was no, it was rushed. There was a court case that involved James Howard, and so Mr. Buttermore came to me and asked me a few questions, and then he typed something up. I was on my way out the door. He said, "Here, look at this and sign it. I won't even use it unless I really need to." And I heard it was the first thing he put up for the case. But anyway, I glanced at it, signed it, went out the door.
Did I threaten you and try to get a piece of property for my own use or anything like that?
No, we had a discussion several times about having a laboratory come to Harlan, and this building was sitting empty for a long time, and that's where the discussion began. And then we were talking about that particular property that James Howard was occupying, and in talking to you, I found out that he said he owned it. And I was involved with the IDA board. I said, no, he's just renting that. He doesn't own it. It's owned by the IDA board. And so I began a 6-year battle trying to wrestle with that, because he's the IDA board chairperson, and he was trying to secure property to himself as an IDA board chairperson. And so that's where that hassle began.
And once you became aware of that, you were glad to hear that information, weren't you?
Yes, and I began to work on it immediately.
So an assertion in that affidavit, first of all, you didn't read it very well, did you?
No, I didn't.
You were in a hurry, is that correct?
That's correct.
And it's not an accurate affidavit, is it?
No.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Mando?
Just a second, please.
And I began to work on it immediately.
So an assertion in that affidavit, first of all, you didn't read it very well, did you?
No.
Mr. Grisham, my name's Jeff Mando. I represent the commission. I don't believe we've met before. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Never spoke to you, asked you any questions about this matter whatsoever, have I?
No.
You mentioned in response to Judge Allred's questions that you spoke with Mr. Weaver during the course of his investigation approximately 6 to 7 times, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Since the summer of 2010, how many times have you spoken to Judge Allred about this matter?
Objection, relatives.
You can ask.
No objection.
What was the basis of the objection?
Relatives.
I think it's relevant.
Probably 6 or 7, 8.
6 to 8. Isn't it true, sir, that Judge Allred has been in your office talking about this matter with you on a number of occasions since the summer of 2010 up to the present time?
He might have been in my office 3 times talking about different things, including this. Yeah.
And has he also talked to you on the phone about it?
A couple times.
And did he talk to you about this affidavit that you prepared, that you signed for Rodney Buttermore?
We talked about that after the case.
And after how many conversations with Judge Allred did you decide to recant the statements in your affidavit?
I decided pretty quickly, because when I actually studied it over and looked at the whole situation, the intent of our discussion was not what other people thought it should be. He was not trying to acquire the property. He was not trying to take over the property. He was simply trying to look at an empty building or a building that's underused and bring jobs to Harlan County. And so people are trying to play this affidavit like he was trying to acquire the property or whatever, and that's what I saw afterwards, and so that's why I recanted.
All right. Let me show you what's been previously marked and entered into evidence in this particular case is Exhibit Number 9. Take a second and look at that.
What is that, Mr. Mando?
Number 9 is affidavit. His affidavit. Is that the affidavit? You've had a chance to look at that, sir?
Yes.
All right. And that's an affidavit. That's your signature on that document?
Yes.
All right. That was prepared by Mr. Buttermore, correct?
Yes.
And that was prepared by Mr. Buttermore after you had a conversation with him about the meeting you had with Judge Allred regarding the IDA property, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Buttermore told you that it might be necessary for him to use that affidavit in court. That's why he needed to get it from you, correct?
Yes.
Then, sir, and did you understand, had you signed it? I mean, how long have you been judge executive?
I'm in my 4th term.
All right. You understand the importance of reading a document before you sign it, especially if it's a legal document?
Well, yes.
All right. And you knew an affidavit was your statement as to what occurred under oath before a notary that could potentially be admitted in a court of law, correct? You knew that.
I did not take an oath.
Right. There's a notary public on that, not acknowledgement on that affidavit, is there not, sir?
Yes. I did not see him sign it. After I signed it, I left the room.
And Let me show you, sir. Do you recall being interviewed by Mr. Gene Weaver where he took a recorded statement from you on May 25th of 2010?
I mean, he came several times. I can't remember the exact dates or whatever,
But you recall a time when he came to you and took a pretty detailed statement from you in May of 2010 where he recorded the interview?
I know he came several times, and we had several discussions, so.
And let me show you, sir, this is a